Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Welcome to Shorts and Cut. This is Muhammad Kamruzzaman from Bangladesh's capital Dhaka. You know, for more than last 1 year, there is huge conflict and war inside Rakhine State across the border with Bangladesh, and situation sometimes deteriorates, and even there is incident of hitting by mortar shell in the territory of Bangladesh, and there is also report of civilian casualties inside Bangladesh due to this war across the border, and even more than 1 dozen Rohingya Muslims have already been killed in Rakhine State due to this war, and many Rohingya peoples still living in Rakhine State have been displaced and many have been injured. So the impacts of this war is huge in Bangladesh. Especially, you know that currently 1.2 million Rohingya Muslims are living in Bangladesh in 33 congested camps in the border district of Cox's Bazar. Bangladesh and Myanmar are trying to start peaceful and dignified repatriation. Especially, Bangladesh is trying for its own sake and regional stability and peace. But due to this war, the possibility of this peaceful and dignified repatriation must be lingered, and uncertainty is growing up whether peaceful and dignified repatriation will be possible in this conflicting situation. So the frustration among the Rohingya refugees living in Bangladesh in subhuman condition must be increased, and it may prompt them to different criminal activities, including human trafficking and other criminal activities like drug peddling and prostitution and others. So this war has a very long-term impact on the Rohingya Muslims living in Bangladesh, and it may affect the whole country. So what Bangladesh can do? There is an interesting incident that is more than 300 Myanmar Army. You know that in Rakhine State now, Myanmar Army, who are called Border Guard Police BGP, and the country's rebel force Arakan Army have been fighting against each other. And the rebel force, that means Arakan Army, is so strong that Myanmar military very often fails to control them. And last week, you know that there is incident of intruding more than 300 Myanmar army inside Bangladesh. But surprisingly, Bangladeshi authorities, under the supervision of country's border force, Border Guard Bangladesh, pushed back or returned those fled Myanmar army very hastily. But there is criticism that Bangladesh could have kept them a few more days to continue bargaining over the peaceful and dignified repatriation of Rohingya. But there is also very interesting assessment by some quarters that Myanmar authorities are such human beings that, and they are so uncivilized that it doesn't matter whether their fled army would be killed or would be treated in a bad way. It doesn't matter for them. They're so inhuman. Otherwise, how could they perpetrate such inhuman genocidal acts against their own citizens, the minor Rohingya Muslims? And you know that there is a trial process of genocide trial case against the Myanmar military junta and the country's army. So Bangladesh very hastily returned those fled Myanmar armies, but many critics think that Bangladesh could have kept them few more days so that Bangladesh could bargain with Myanmar authorities regarding peaceful and dignified repatriation of Rohingya Muslims in exchange of this army who fled into Bangladesh due to the devastating war across the border. And Bangladesh also could have engaged the international communities, the United Nations and other world actors regarding this intrusion of the country's military after the war escalated in the last few days. But it's very surprising why Bangladesh very hastily returned those army to Myanmar so easily. Bangladesh must be careful in the next days in case of this type of situation, and Bangladesh should be more careful in the border so that no further incident of intrusion happen across the border due to this war. And Bangladesh also think over how Bangladesh could put more pressure on the Myanmar authorities regarding the repatriation of Rohingya, because this will be very much devastating for Bangladesh in the coming days, because you know that a huge number of newborn babies are being added regularly in the Rohingya refugee camps, and frustration is growing up because of the uncertainty of peaceful and dignified repatriation. They are grown up without higher education. Higher education is a far dream for the Rohingya people. Even they are not getting proper education, proper guidance, and children are being grown up without any care, proper parental care. So the situation is very deplorable in Rohingya refugee camp, and it may escalate in the coming days if uncertainty regarding peaceful and dignified repatriation increased in the coming days due to this war. So how Bangladesh will deal with it, it's a matter of great thinking. Bangladesh should be more active in diplomatic efforts to put due pressure on Myanmar authorities to take back its own citizens. And this war may be used as a play by the Myanmar military junta to delay the repatriation process, peaceful and dignified repatriation process. So Bangladesh should deal this very carefully, and Bangladesh should also remember that such a huge number of Myanmar military who took shelter inside this country could be a very strong element for bargaining with the Myanmar authorities. But surprisingly, Bangladesh didn't do that. Maybe on humanitarian ground, Bangladesh was so much generous to the Myanmar authorities, but there is also questions whether such generosity should be taken against a country who are so much cruel and brutal, and there is huge matter to be dealt with that country by Bangladeshi authorities. So the situation should be dealt more tactfully in the coming days. Thank you very much for staying with me no more today. Bye for now. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment my channel. Allah Hafiz.